Alright boys, another day, another dollar. Now, not very big move since overnight. We've seen a little bit more US dollar weakness against some of the high yielding pairs like the Aussie and the Kiwi. Mixed against the Euro, not really moved at all. Down just steady at this 104.50, and dollar yen's been steady, orbiting the 116 level. So not much to do here. There was a little brief attempt of a rally here on the US-UK free trade talk, but it failed at 122 pretty sharply and has been selling constantly all day. So in regards to what I'm looking at here, there is a Trump, much talked about and probably overhyped because there isn't much else out in the market right now. Speech coming on tonight that is due at 3 AM my time, 11 AM New York time, so we're talking about 7 hours from now, which is a bit late for me. I mean, obviously I'll be sleeping. I'm not going to get up for probably a rambling non-structured speech that Trump will give, but there will be questions asked, and that's going to be interesting. Throughout Asia there was heaps of rumors today, and the subject matter is not PG, so we will not be talking about it too much on stream. Needless to say, it's all about Russia having this secret information on Trump that is... Yeah, I've got a fan. Well, it's bloody hot in the city, mate. It's like 40 degrees today. That's God. Alright. It could be just the ambient background, but yeah. Wait. I haven't even got the fan on. That's just the outside turbines. That's just the wind outside. Is it loud, is it, boys? I'm not using my little doozy at the moment. I'm using just the mic cam sound, which is probably picking up everything and doesn't have the filter on it. But is it back on now? OBS is reconnected. Look, it could be our internet actually. Maybe I should turn down the settings because it is on full ball. Yeah, see this little thing down the bottom here? I haven't seen that before, that little OBS reconnected. Yeah, I'm on NBN, so it should be fine. It should be able to handle it, but I don't know. The computer is fine. I'm not dropping any. Maybe it is just throttling somehow. It's just there's somewhere where it's catching. Yeah, no. The actual program just disconnected and reconnected for some reason. I will get the better mic set up for tomorrow. I just I come home. I'm pretty late from work here, doing the late shift here. So I get home and I've got only about an hour, and I usually just rest for a little before I get back into it. But yeah, I will try and get that proper mic set up if it does help the sound cancelling. Alright, so what's happening here in the Russia scenario? So the leaked documents from BuzzFeed, you know, they're all to do with Trump going over to Moscow to do business, and then the FSB bugging his room and, you know, putting recorders in his room, and he got all these Russian girls up into his room and did all this crazy stuff that supposedly has been recorded. So that would be really interesting and potentially career ending for Trump if it was true. I doubt it is true, but you never know. You never know. It's you know, it doesn't smack me as, oh, that's impossible, right? It's just like, even if it was true, they'd probably sort it out so it didn't come out, you'd think. So that's the thing what's going through Asia. There's no substance to it just yet, just you know, pretty much keeping to the same sort of second-rate media sources. Yeah. You didn't hear about the Russian girls. Read out what exactly it is, Potter. I don't want to have to say about it, mate. I don't want to have to say exactly what they did, but it's hilarious, yeah? That's what all the Twitter jokes are about. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it too much, but you'll find out if you go online. You'll find out exactly what they're talking about, what he did. Anyway, so you know, the Trump thing, the speech is going to be watched closely. See his comments on Mexico. See his he's got pretty aggressive with some of these U.S. companies at the moment, and people are starting to be afraid of you know, being labelled as this anti-American. And so I suspect he's going to continue that rhetoric, but whether he actually goes to the next stage of talking about a border tax in Mexico or talking about currency being China being a currency manipulator, you know, that's the things which the market would really run with. Other than that, you know, you should expect not too much on the cards there. Interesting little rally here. I don't mind buying dollar yen. I was watching dollar yen earlier today and I'm like, well, I was waiting for the big pullback and we got this dip and then we got the second dip and then this dip came up higher too. It's like, well, okay, well, we're not going to muck around forever here on this attempt to pull back. There's only so many chances that the seller's going to have on this pair, and I think a lot of the buyers are getting impatient here too, so I might actually start to get back into this pair on the long side. Let's just check the US bond yields. What's been happening overnight? Not much yet. Not much yet. We want to see this start to rally again. If it doesn't start to rally soon, it would be the death knell of the US dollar. But perhaps if Trump comes across pro-business, the market will go back to buying US dollar, and that's what you have to be aware of tonight anyway at 3 AM Sydney time. So, you know, we had the stalling of the US dollar trade, we had the stalling of the stock market rally, but that has been the last week. Now we have to try and play out what the next move is, and usually after stalling, the market goes back to these normal trends, which would be euro selling and dollar yen buying. So that's the longer we go stalling, the more likely I think we are going to continue that trend. Perhaps we just have quite boring range trading for the next week until Trump comes into power on Friday. But if I had to hazard a guess, I'd be on the long side right now, the US dollar. But trading before Trump speaks tonight probably is a little too dangerous for me. But it's the charts are starting to suggest that we start to get into this US dollar long position again. Let's just check the US dollar index. Chinese yuan stabilized each day is getting higher too, so that's helping. US dollar index looks like the dollar yen, and you know, it's not doing too badly here. So apparently it's all lies. Yeah, that's right, Intel. I mean, what's he going to say? It's true. So yeah, well, what we're going to do now is we're going to look into a little bit of research on a couple of different topics. The main ones being what's going on with this Aussie. Why is it rebounding so sharply? What's the outlook here? Is it safe to sell soon? What's going on with this Trump speech tonight? And the dollar yen, the risk to the downside. And I don't think we'll have time for a little pound one, but there's also another pound one there. We did have a bit of headline news. coming across that the lira's weakened to all-time lows, sharply weaker today in the Asian session, just shot up. Now, if you remember back, we did have that failed coup not that long ago, and the market was really relatively stable after that, but some of my best traders actually selling lira for the last month or so, absolutely killing it. It's not something I trade, and it's not my game, but by God, is it moving? Right, it is. I think it dropped another 2% today. Let's have a look at it on the euro. So that's huge moves, guys. You know, not much else is moving in the market, but lira is. I'm just going to find out what's going on there. I myself am not fully up to the game in the lira, so this will be insightful for me. So the central bank's trying to stop this, and it's still happening. That's very dangerous. You can tell the central bank's in by the drop in 14 billion in reserves. What is the counter forces at risk of weakening? So what, if you're a speculator here, you have to be worried about the central bank coming in and intervening aggressively. That's really what I would be concerned about at these levels. This is sort of, you know, in trader terms, this is a capitulation sort of move. Market breaks 4 and then goes and, you know, falls another 2.5% the next day on nothing. You know, that's super dangerous. That could be the capitulation there that forces the central bank's hand. I wouldn't be chasing here, but I might be looking to buy some sort of pullback deep just to see if there's anything else at play. Maybe it's just the market going after them. I mean, obviously having a coup and, you know, this crackdown on certain elements inside their societies creates this, and also the distancing from the EU and the likelihood of them coming into the EU does create a bad investment backdrop, and the whole Syrian war, concerns about Russia, and you know, that does create a little bit of issues here. But I don't know, I mean, is there something else at play that we can't see? Nothing here that looks like a smoking gun. But yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on it. Ooh. Ooh. Nice little rally here in the DAX. So far nothing is chasing it, but fairly sharp here. Let's see. Data wise, we've got a little bit of data from UK in 3 minutes. That's an interesting move here. Now, we've seen this sort of price action before, guys. It rarely stops at the highs. So we'll come back to this after we look at a few more bank reports. I suspect we will be above 10.6 here. This sort of price action leads to further further moves higher. Most of the time. If you trade the DAX, you know what I mean. Two seconds. I'll be back. Let you all guess what I'm buying. So this is ANZ. I like Westpac a little bit more, but these are one of the big fours over here. They're usually pretty good in terms of the AED. So why has the Aussie reversed so sharply? Alright. Decline in market volatility. Signs of undervaluation given the commodity prices. And they actually have changed their view to get into a long here, targeting 78. Okay. So perhaps they're talking about the sharp rally in stocks and how we've lagged that. Usually we'd rally. The global economy looking stronger. Market settling down. Risk should come on. Aussie yen probably going to rally. Aussie yen, I suppose, is, yeah, they're playing Aussie yen angle. Okay, that's really not the sort of trade I'll recommend here. The Aussie has actually gone down, back from being, in my opinion, Aussie's gone from being like a commodity risk currency more to being a US dollar strength, US dollar weakness sort of currency. So I think it'll take its cue more from dollar yen rally and euro falling than anything else. And I suspect if the dollar yen is going to rally to 130 or 125 and the euro is going to go to parity, that the Aussie will be dragged down lower with it. That being said, I don't mind buying Aussie yen, I don't mind selling euro Aussie as ways to get away from the US dollar, especially if we're looking to ways to get away from the US dollar in a market where the stocks are remaining strong. Those trades make sense. It hasn't completely decoupled from risk, it's just we want to be, you know, if you want to play something without US dollar, then buy the Aussie, I suppose. It is one of the stronger currencies out there. Alright, dollar yen, Deutsche Bank. I want to buy dips, okay, so does everyone. Dollar yen's losing momentum. We're seeing some correction, yada yada. Alright. The worry about an unwind of US dollar longs. And this is something which is talked about a lot by the US dollar bears. The uncertainty concerning Trump's policies, if Trump emphasizes high commitments to tax cuts, and how much he's going to get through the US Congress as well is very important here. And any sort of walking back expectations in the market probably is going to hurt the US dollar, or at least put a top side on the put a cap there on the rally. This is interesting. This point here is that if the US dollar continues to rally, then an emerging market crisis is very likely. You know, a lot of countries have been pushed to breaking point, and particularly China, things could get out of control, and in a way which is unforeseeable right now. And if the emerging markets get out of control, that's not too bad for the US dollar, but it's bad for stocks if there's problems in the emerging markets, and it's bad for stocks, and it's bad for dollar yen. Yen will be the safe haven again if the stocks fell. So the US dollar can still outperform as a safe haven against these pairs, but it's not like the won't be repercussions here for the dollar yen. They're still expecting yen 125. They expect 115 to be the bottom. Okay. Well, it's been to 115 a few times here. Data from the UK has just come out, boys. Let's have a look. Slightly weak on the trade balance. Strong on the manufacturing production. Construction output slightly weak. Industrial production quite strong. I mean, the data there is pretty mixed. The market's reaction is pretty strong here to the downside, though. So, you know, that's surprising. In terms of the trade, I bought off screen when I turned off the screen just a second ago. I bought DAX and I bought dollar yen. Those were the trades that I did. Alright, one more little update. Let's have a look at the Pound Aussie. Okay, yeah, we can look at Pound Aussie. I mean, obviously Pound Aussie is going to be in a strong downtrend. Aussie is the strongest pair after the US dollar. So, yeah, Pound's the weakest, and so it's going to be pretty clear downtrend, but we'll have a look at it. See how close we are to some of those supports from back in the day. So the Pound Aussie bounced fairly sharply in that pound recovery. We must have recovered most of that loss, though. We must have pulled back down towards the bottom here. I actually haven't looked at it for 2 days, Erebus, so it would be the first time I looked at it for a while. Trump's first press conference since last July. They've actually gone short dollar yen, expecting Trump to say something a bit negative today. Wow. Okay. If they do clean it out to 112.50, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. I wonder if he's going to field questions on the scandal which is just broken on here. I mean, when we're looking at Trump and his Twitter feed, yeah, it's just sort of out of control. He doesn't mind controversy though, he just straight up even retweets it. I mean, it's 2 days ago. Most politicians can't get away with this stuff, right? And this is just par for the course for him. He just goes out and he never apologizes for anything. He just never backtracks, always moving forward. It's quite a unique phenomenon. I've never seen this before. So it will be a very interesting press conference. I'll get the highlights tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow during Thursday's stream. We'll finish up with some pound Aussie. Eurobus wants to have a little look here. So we've got a little bit more room to go here, guys. So this is not a bad way of playing it. You get the nice carry every day, and you've got the US dollar component out of this rally. Now you do have some risk here that there is some positive news that UK may say something. The Prime Minister may say something which can take in as a soft Brexit approach. But both seem to be playing hardball at the moment. Both Germany and a lot of the Brexit backers. So let's see how that plays out. But in the end, I'm definitely more towards this year being a bull on the pound. I do suspect that we will see sanity prevail and business and money take over the discussion. So doing the most prudent things would definitely end up being I think the easiest way forward later on. But yeah, while there's so much uncertainty, we could definitely go down, back down towards that 158 level there. This is nothing over the coming weeks. Especially Aussie continues to outperform. I mean, the pound moving down to 118 alone would get the euro, would get the pound Aussie down there. Remember, there's a bit of controversy about how low the bottom is in this flash crash. Some are calling 115, some are calling 118. The low here for us is 119, so retail market obviously has different lows as well. God, it just broke my charts. Yeah, I would be remaining on the sell side. There's no reason not to try and stick in and start buying the Eurobus. I mean, technically, what might be oversold, but nothing too crazy. Alright, wait for some sort of reason for the market to turn around here. Yeah, pound's got no support anyway, right? I mean, just use excuse that the data was a little bit weak. It's not. Ignore the good data, focus on the bad data. It's classic bear market sort of move. But let's just see Trump. Yeah, I think Trump's going to be more interesting tonight. I'm not involved in the pound. I don't want to have open trades during the night at the moment, so it's very hard for me to trade the pound safely. But yeah, by all means, get involved in the sell side if you're into that. Alright guys, good luck with your trades. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 GMT. We'll review the Trump press conference. We'll see if there's any movement there on the main markets afterwards. If there isn't, then I think this is going to help our long US dollar, long DAX. Like basically, if we don't get selling tomorrow, risk off trading during the US session tonight. Tomorrow we're going to start our buying. Yeah, and that's a bit of a game plan for you as well if you want to hop on early. Alright guys, good night.